Good evening, class. Today we are going to start with next module on environmental quality management. So let's first talk about the concept of environmental quality. What do we mean by a quality of an environment? It is essential for healthy and happy living, of course, and basically environmental quality means the quality of the total environment of the air, water, the area we are living in, and broadly it encompasses the four broad areas, that is shelter, which depends upon the quality and adequacy of the residential or commercial areas or the industrial buildings, health and safety of the public, related to the prevention of diseases, accidents, pollution of air, water, soil, noise pollution, etc., efficiency factor of the environment, which facilitates various human activities and movement, and also creation of an environment which maximizes people's comfort and enjoyment of living. What are the quality parameters, standards, and measurements? Now, quality of the total environment is the outcome of the quality of its various components, that is basically the air, water, land, soil, etc. And quality of each of these components can be characterized by a set of standards or parameters. Let's first talk about air. Interchangeably, air is we also call air as atmosphere, and it is important to maintain the quality of air. It consists of various components like various gases like ozone, hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, particulate matter, and air is present both outdoors as well as indoors. So maintenance of the quality of both the outdoor air as well as indoor air is important. Now let's first talk about the air outdoors. So the parameter affecting the air quality of the outdoor air is the air composition, which is the elements that I had told earlier, like oxygen, hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, particulate matter, ozone, etc. Temperature of the air, pathogen load, and noise. Next comes air indoors. Now the indoor air is supposed to be much more cleaner and of better quality as compared to the outdoor air. However, due to the modern consumer products like air fresheners, cleaning compounds, moth repellents, cigarettes, disinfectants, deodorants, and all these things, they lead to more toxic indoor air as compared to the outdoor air. Now, as stated by the National Ambient Air Quality Standards, these are the standards for each of the pollutant. So this table shows the air quality standards for sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, that is NO2 and other nitrogen oxides, and suspended particulate matter. In terms of industrial area, residential and rural area, sensitive area, and methods of measurement. Okay. Now next element is water. Now the quality parameter and their values for different water usages, it's different for different water usages. So the major parameters that are employed for assessing the quality of water, it is irrespective of the source. So we have different sources of water: fresh water, groundwater, marine water, etc. And it is these are the following parameters on which the quality of the water is judged. So these are, first is physical characteristics like color, odor, temperature, turbidity, froth, radioactivity. So color, normally the water is considered to be clear in color, it has no color, but due to, in case of oceans or marine water, or even in lakes, due to the presence of marine life and aquatic plants, it shows some maybe green or blue color. Then odor, it should have no odor. Temperature of the water, turbidity, froth, and radioactive materials present in the water. And other are the chemical characteristics like the pH level. amount of oxygen in the water, hardness of water, presence of elements like chlorine, fluorine, nitrogen content, iron, residual chlorine. Next is bioform characteristics, that is presence of microorganism in water. All these parameters determine the quality of the water. Now this table shows the water quality standards criteria basically. So the first column is the water for usage of water, so that is drinking water, then for bathing purposes, for drinking water source, propagation of wildlife and fisheries, and irrigation. So in these 5 categories it has been distributed, and these are known as class of water. So drinking water source without conventional treatment but after disinfection is class A, then outdoor bathing is class B, drinking water source after treatment is class C, for wildlife and fisheries class D, and irrigation industrial class E. And the last column shows the quality criteria of each of these water classes. Next is soil and land. So soil supports diverse variety of life including human civilization, and land is used by man for multiple ways, like for food production, supporting water resources, forests, for building homes. And the main properties of soil that are taken into account for determining the quality of the soil are soil particle size, soil texture and structure, soil moisture, aeration, cation exchange capacity, that is CEC, which basically means that the ability of the soil. So there are minerals present in the soil, so the ability of the soil to transmit those minerals to the plants that are grown in that area is known as CEC. And next is soil biota. Now soil degradation is also a kind of soil deterioration basically, or soil pollution we can say. So because of population growth and rapid urbanization, industrialization and various developmental activities, these activities have contributed to the soil degradation process, and soil erosion often results in the formation of gullies or ravines as we call, which makes them unsuitable for production. Also the concentration of chemical elements in soil. There are some toxic chemical elements can also be present like mercury, copper, nickel, lead, cadmium, cobalt, etc. So all these things lead to soil degradation. Next comes noise. So basically noise means unwanted sound present in the atmosphere, and it is measured in terms of decibels. So the source of noise pollution is divided into basically 2 categories: industrial and commercial noises and non-industrial sources. So by basically industrial and commercial places, by running machines, gadgets, as a result of large number of people or a large number of people conversing or parties and all, these are commercial noises or industrial noises. Non-industrial sources of noise are basically aircrafts, automobiles, constructions, microphones, loudspeakers, etc. Again, this table shows the noise standards for the ambient air. So industrial, it is divided into areas: industrial area, commercial area, residential area and silent zone. And these areas are given the code in terms of A, B, C and D, and their quality is determined in terms of decibels in both daytime as well as night time in the rightmost column. Next is radiation. The word radiation basically means the rays emanating from a radioactive or nuclear source, and these, once they are generated, they persist for decades, and these are neither visible nor their effect is sometimes also not felt immediately. If they are if somebody comes in contact with the radioactive sources in nominal form, then its impact is not visible immediately, but their effect is cumulative, and it can affect generations and it is painful and even fatal sometimes. So they contaminate all the components of the ecosystem, air, water, soil, at macro levels, and at micro levels they enter the food chain and the cells of the organisms. Now the common sources of radiations are basically nuclear power plants. So the disposing of nuclear waste. The another source is occupational exposure. So basically when they work in radioactive environments within their permissible limits on regular basis, this causes them sometimes to get infected. So for example, in chemical industry, medicine industry, chemical processing plants, extraction of uranium, etc. And another is nuclear weapons. So radiation have basically two kinds of effect on human body. One is somatic effect, another is genetic effect. So somatic effect is either if somebody is coming in contact with 100 to 500 doses of radiation, it can cause damage, and it is lethal and cause death if above 500 radiation doses, if the person is coming in contact with 500 to 2000 doses of radiation. Genetic effect, as I had told earlier, that the radiation effects, so at micro level also they can enter the food chain and affect the cells of the organisms, and thus since they are affecting the cells of the organisms, they are said to be genetically harmful. So they can affect the descendants of the exposed individual. So this is all for today. In next class, we'll start the topic of environmental quality management. Thank you.